Well, thank you guys for coming in. My name is Rachel. It's nice to meet you. I'm going to be your clinician. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'm Karen Root. This is my husband, Michael Root.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you. Likewise.
So have you guys ever been in therapy before?
I have.
No, I have not. Never felt the need.
Okay. So I just wanted to go over, so you might be familiar with it, confidentiality. So basically anything that you say in this room won't leave. I won't tell anyone else unless I feel like you're harm to yourself or others. Okay? Do you have any questions about that?
I don't think so.
Okay. And I just wanted to let you guys know that we will be doing some hard work in here, so it might bring up some emotions. It might be a little bit difficult. So you're welcome to discuss that with me, and if you're not ready for certain things, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So what brings you guys in today? How about we start with Michael? You can tell me what brings you in.
We're having some problems with our daughter.
Okay.
And we wanted to discuss it.
All right. Do you guys only have one child?
We have two.
You have two children, okay. And what's their names?
Meredith and Rebecca.
Okay. And who's the child having most of the issues?
Meredith.
Meredith, okay.
She's older.
Okay.
Meredith is 16 and Rebecca is 11.
Okay. And Karen, can you tell me a little bit about what brings you guys in here today?
Well, yeah, Rebecca is 11, and Meredith is 16. Meredith is in high school, as you can imagine, and her and her sister used to be, young, innocent, little, well-behaved girls, and now that Meredith is in high school, she is, getting into the wrong crowd. She is not the girl I once knew. She's misbehaving. Any boundaries that we set for her, she doesn't follow anymore. She, doesn't do her homework. She doesn't come home at her curfew times. She has been caught smoking in school, or smoking period. We don't allow smoking. She's been caught drinking. I mean, you name it, and she's pushing every boundary that we have. I don't know why she's become so rebellious. I've tried working with her or understanding, what this change is. The only thing I can think of is that she started to hang around with the wrong crowd. She's not hanging around with the children that, the mothers I'm friendly with, and, the crowd that she grew up with. It's others, young girls that she met in school, and I don't know the families. And as much as I try to, understand what's going on in her life, she doesn't want to talk about it. She's very secretive. We used to have we still do have family dinners. We used to talk about our days and what we're into. She doesn't, open up. She's extremely close to Michael, but he's more her buddy, her pal, her friend, not a parent or a parental figure. So I'm more like the mean parent, and he's more like the buddy, the pal, and
Do you agree with that? That you're more of her buddy and her pal?
No, I mean, I do feel like I'm a parent. I don't like to, come down on her too hard sometimes, but I don't want to push her away either. She's at that age where, one day she's your friend and the next she's not, and I don't want to live, with someone not happy with me, not happy, period, really.
I get that. So a little bit of what I'm seeing is more of like a disconnect between your guys' relationship, and I think that might be affecting her and how the structure of this family is intertwined and perpetuating some of her issues. So I just wanted to get like a basic idea of your family structure. So we're just going to do the nuclear family for this session. But, okay, so we're going to do Karen. We're going to do Michael. I'm spelling your names correctly, right?
Yes,
And then I'm just going to connect them. You guys are married, right?
correct.
And how would you say your relationship is? Are you guys close or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna do your two girls. And the square means male, circles mean female. So we have Meredith, and Meredith is 16, you said?
Correct.
And then we have Rebecca, and she is
11.
11, right? Okay. And how is the relationship between the two girls?
Well, when they were younger, they were much closer.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Meredith has gotten into high school and, you know, started hanging around with this new group of friends, she doesn't really want to deal with her sister. And I think that, you know, that makes Rebecca feel bad.
Okay.
And I've seen a little change in her behavior too. She's gotten much more quiet, and I think maybe she's a little bit depressed because she doesn't understand why her sister doesn't, you know, want to deal with her anymore.
Okay.
I think she feels like her sister doesn't like her anymore, maybe. She's, you know, you can tell that she's upset by her sister's behavior.
So you'd say
as
there's
well.
a little bit of animosity between them, a little bit of.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we'll note that. And then, Michael, you are very close to Meredith.
Mhm.
So we'll note that as well. These double lines just mean that you guys are really close. And Karen, how would you say your relationship is with both of your daughters?
I would say I used to be equally close to both of them. Michael's exceptionally close to Meredith. But as Meredith got older, she kind of pulled away from me when she started hanging around with, like I said, this new group of gals. She just, you know, pushed away from me, and I think part of it was because she didn't want me to know what was going on.
Okay.
So, but she's always been a little bit closer to Michael.
Okay. Alright, so this is basically what I'm seeing from the family structure. And you can see how all of these relationships intertwine and how, you know, Michael's very close with Meredith, Rebecca and Meredith aren't really getting along anymore, and the two of you are close. So I know you guys came in here discussing the issues with Meredith. But I do see that there might be issues within the family structure that are perpetuating some of Meredith's issues.
Okay.
So I did want to discuss a little bit about the parental subsystem, okay? So that's the two of you. So the way you guys are getting along and interacting can influence how Meredith is acting as well, okay? Can you guys maybe see how that can be an issue? So I think that,
I think we probably need to talk about that, and maybe that's why we're here.
yeah, so I think the two of you need to be on the same page in terms of, you know, discipline and boundaries being set. So I think that we could work on that together. Okay. And I also wanted to discuss how we can change the interactions and how the way you interact with Meredith can influence her behavior. So when you guys get calls from the schools, let's say, and you hear that Meredith has done something wrong, what is your usual reaction when she comes home or when you guys see each other?
Well, I'm usually the disciplinarian, the one that, you know, ends up talking to her and asking her, you know, why she did this, and she doesn't, you know, have answers for me. She doesn't want to even acknowledge that she did those things, and I'm the one who, you know, grounds her or takes her phone away or her social media away, and, you know, Michael just thinks she's going through a phase.
Okay, and where are you in this conversation? Where you're having this conversation with Meredith, where would you be?
Usually at work when but when I come home, I hear about it.
Okay. So I think that one thing, let me hear from you guys what you think about this, but I think one thing could be maybe waiting until Michael comes home to have the conversation. And when you do have the conversation, what is your level of frustration?
Well, I start off calm and cool and collected, but I get agitated when I get no response from her when I'm trying to
Okay.
communicate. She just totally shuts down, she won't respond. It's like talking to a brick wall.
Okay. I know that you're very close with Meredith, so maybe you being in this conversation could open, some doors, and maybe she would be more willing to respond to you. So I think that's one thing that we could try to work on is different dynamics at play when you have to, discuss disciplinary actions with Meredith.
But I don't think he wants to discipline her because he thinks it's just a phase.
Well, it is just that she's a teenage girl, is going through normal teenage girl things.
But does that mean she should do whatever she wants and there's no consequences?
No. There's, and I do understand, the smoking and things like that. I don't want that to happen either. I don't want anyone getting hooked on smoking or anything like that. But I don't know. Arguing with a teacher is just something that kids do.
That's disrespectful.
I can see both sides of this, but I think the most important thing you should take from this is that you both are not on the same page. And I think if we can get you both on the same page, she'll be more receptive. She'll be getting a consistent message from both of you. So
Makes
it's,
sense.
yeah, it's something we can work on, absolutely. It's good to have both of you guys here in this session. I think that maybe in future sessions we can have all four of you. But it's great to have both of you here so we can try to work on this, the subsystem here. Okay. So I just wanted to get a better idea of how you guys interact. Can you guys think of a recent argument you've had? No?
Well, I can think of one. Just last weekend, I had to go out and do errands, and Meredith wanted to go out with her friends, and I told her that she needed to do her chores before she went out with her friends. And Michael was home, and I told him that I told Meredith that she needed to do her chores before she went out with her friends. And then I left the house, and when I came back, she was gone, and her chores were not done.
Okay.
And I talked to him about it, and
I forgot.
Okay. What did that argument look like?
it looked like me coming home and saying, "Are you kidding me?
Okay.
You let her go out and she didn't do her chores."
So one thing I'm gonna do is gonna have you guys reenact that, okay? So we'll start with you.
Okay.
Do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I came in the house and
Alright.
the dishwasher was still full and the garbage was not taken out, and those were two of the things that were on her chore list. And I said to him, I said, "Michael, are you kidding me?"
I want you to turn to Michael and say it.
I said, "Michael, are you kidding?" I didn't say Michael, I said, "Michael, are you kidding me? These two things were on Meredith's chore list. She was supposed to do them before she could go out with her friends. Why did you let her out without doing her chores?"
Sorry, I forgot. I forgot that she was under the rules.
Well, these aren't under rules, these are her chores. I mean, she's given us so much problems lately. You need to be on top of her. I mean, you're letting her get away with so much, and she's just pushing us, she's pushing the envelope. She'll get away with whatever we let her get away with, and you just gotta be there.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I just, at the time I forgot, I apologize.
We should be a little bit more on top of it, especially with, I mean, you gotta be there as far as she's concerned. That's kinda how it went.
Okay. Well, I want to commend you for sharing your feelings and opening up for that, and you for staying so content and hearing her out. I thought that was great, but I think that, you know, you can see the dynamics between you and how the lack of communication on the topic of Meredith and discipline can, you know, limit how the boundaries are set. So I think that if we look at that a little bit and how you guys can interact and do it in a more positive way, I think that we can try to make some changes in terms of Meredith's behavior.
I'm clearly the more emotional one with regard to what's going on, and he's more the laid back person where she's going through a phase, this too shall pass, I'm her buddy, you know, kind of thing. So I think it's, you know, it's easy to say, get on the same page, but, you know, easier said than done, I think.
In terms of boundaries, do you think that you're the one that usually sets them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Do you feel like you set boundaries at all?
I mean, I think I have my own boundaries, I just think that they're probably different from hers.
Okay. Well, I think one thing that you guys could work on is having the same boundaries and compromising on what you believe should be set and what you think will be the best for the girls.
That makes sense.
Do you have anything to add about boundaries or anything like that?
I don't think so. Do you?
Well, I mean, this day and age, I think that, you know, there's a lot going on. Especially with social media and, you know, I mean, today for a 16-year-old is a lot different than when we were 16 years old. So I just think that as a parent, we need to be a little bit or a lot more stricter, you know, than when our parents were parenting us. So it's different, it looks different. So I think we have to take that into consideration.
Okay. One thing I think will be beneficial for the two of you is just a little bit of homework.
Okay.
So I think that I want you guys to try to talk about resetting boundaries with Meredith, okay? And try to be on the same page with what boundaries you want to set and discuss how you're going to do that. You don't have to come to a complete consensus, but we will discuss it next week and see what you guys can come up with, and how we can try to implement that, okay? And then I did want to discuss if any further behavioral issues come up or any issues with Meredith. I just wanted to go over what we're going to do for that. So I think that the best thing that the two of you can do is discuss before you talk to Meredith. So discuss together the issues that came up, which boundaries were crossed, and what you want to do in order to discipline her. Okay. And then I want the two of you to talk to Meredith together. And when you guys have a stronger dynamic, she'll see that, and she'll see that both of you are, you know, consistent with your messages, and that you're trying to elicit the same behavior from her, which is, you know, cooperation and, you know, not doing those things in school and listening to your boundaries. And so she knows exactly what you are looking for. Okay? Do you think that's feasible?
I think it's something we can work on.
But do you think you guys could maybe set aside an hour and discuss this?
Yes, we can try.
Okay. I think that's important, and we'll come back together and discuss it. And like I said, I think it would be best if your daughters come in next week. If that can't happen, we'll try to rethink it for another session, and we can always still work on your dynamic. But regardless, if they do come in, we'll spend a little bit of time alone with just the two of you to discuss what the homework was. Okay. All right. And does this time next week work?
this is good.
Great, I'll pencil you in for that. Thank you
Alright.
so much. It's
Thank
nice to
you.
meet the two of you.
Same here.